let's carry on looking at my DVDs. Ahoy everybody, and welcome to the next part of a look at my general film and TV DVDs. Previous parts of my playlist, future parts of my playlist. Let's just get straight on with it. So first up we have Stanleys Mutants, Monsters and Marvels. So this is a DVD with two little features on it. Basically Kevin Smith interviewing Stan Lee. Feature 1 is Creating Spider-Man, so obviously it's all about Spider-Man. Feature 2 is Here Come the Heroes, which is him talking about a lot of the other Marvel heroes. And then there's lots of extras on there as well. But yeah, it's enjoyable, especially if you're into your comic books. I got it more because I'm into Kevin Smith, but still enjoyable. This is Weve All About You. This is a British film starring Chris Eccleston, Dervla Kirwan, Julie Graham. Who else is in it? Gordon Kennedy, Dune McKeegan, Alan Armstrong. It's a... Just rereading it because it's a long time since I watched it. So, Christopher and Dervla are married. They're trying for a kid, but it's not going well. Then they both get involved with other people, basically, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's a good film. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I surely don't need to say anything more about that. Classic film that everybody should love. A very dusty copy of The Big Match, Tottenham Hotspur. So you may or may not be aware that I am a Tottenham Hotspur fan. They are my football club of choice, have been since 1981. This is a compilation of their appearances on The Big Match, which was ITV's answer to Match of the Day back in the days when both channels showed football. And there's just lots of great 70s football action from some of my favourite people, including my favourite player ever, Glenn Hoddle. This is Kentucky Fried Movie. This is an Arrow video release of a classic comedy. So it's the Zucker brothers, who created Airplane and then The Naked Gun, and John Landis, who did Blues Brothers, American Werewolf in London, Trading Places, so on and so forth. Early in their careers together, and it's a cable TV spoof, really. Very zany. There's a big kung fu spoof in there as well, which turns into a Wizard of Oz spoof at one point. Lots of stuff in there. It's 18, it's adults only stuff. You know, there's nudity and stuff like that. And this version, it's got 4 different covers to choose from. That's the original film poster, I believe. I did already have this on DVD, but I upgraded to this version. Big booklet and art cards and poster. Not art cards, I lied. Poster is what I thought was the art cards. Big booklet. And it's got commentaries and all sorts of extras, as is typical of an Arrow release. And various Easter eggs and home movies. Yeah, good release of a good film. This is The Invisible Kid, which I basically got on DVD because I used to have it on VHS, so for nostalgia's sake. It's a film from the mid-80s. It's basically a teenage version of The Invisible Man, so a student discovers how to become invisible, and it's the hijinks that result from that. It's silly, but it's fun. It's got China Phillips, who went on to be in Wilson Phillips, in it, and Karen Black's in it. Yeah, it's okay. This is Hudson Hawk. So this was a huge flop when released. It was critically panned and did badly in the cinemas, but since then it's had a bit of a reappraisal, and I've always enjoyed it. It was a bit of a labour of love for Bruce Willis. He created the story. And sort of got it off the ground, but basically he plays the greatest cat burglar in the world, and it's all he gets tied up in a CIA and plot, and it's all, yeah, a madcap zany comedy, I think they refer to it as. But yeah, I enjoy it. This is Wild Bill. I bought this in a charity auction on eBay, and it is signed by the director, Dexter Fletcher, who of course went on to rescue Bohemian Rhapsody and directed Rocket Man, and of course also very well known as an actor for things like Press Gang and Lock, Stock and Hotel Babylon and Bugsy Malone and all sorts of things. This is a really good film. So Charlie Creed Miles plays Bill, who's been locked up, and his 11-year-old and 15-year-old sons, the 15-year-old is played by Will Poulter, were abandoned by their mother, and so have been bringing each other up, fending for themselves. And it's sort of how he gets back into their lives. But yeah, really, really good film. Really well acted by all involved. Heartily recommend. This is Without a Clue. So this is Michael Caine and Ben Kingsley as Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. But in this version, Sherlock Holmes is actually just a bumbling buffoon, and it's Dr. Watson who solves all the cases. Because Sherlock Holmes is just a mythical detective. I forgot this little twist. And Michael Caine's character is actually just an actor who Watson employs to play Sherlock Holmes. But yes, and it's from there, it's sort of a typical Sherlock Holmes mystery. And as you may or may not be aware, I love Sherlock Holmes, and I enjoy this film. This is Twins of Evil, the Hammer film. Very typical early 70s Hammer film. Very gothic, lots of boobs, lots of very red blood. And if you like Hammer films, I'm sure you'll enjoy Twins of Evil. This I only watched the other day. Last year I did a Christmas quiz and needed to buy a load of the Christmas films because I've never owned them. In fact, I've never seen most of them. A lot of films like this, and even Home Alone, and they sort of came out at a time when I was too old for them, and because I've never had kids, I've never gone back to watch them. So it's only purchasing them for the quiz that made me watch them, and they've just recently appeared in my got to the top of my to watch pile, and I've watched quite a few of them in the last few weeks. Yeah, Santa Claus is okay. It's enjoyable fluff. Good performances. This is The Exception. This is a good film. It's set in World War II. Is it 2 or 1? Yes, 2. So, Kaiser Wilhelm II, played by Christopher Plummer, has had some threats made to his life. So the Nazis, who are sort of protecting him, send Jai Courtney's character, Stefan Brandt, to investigate the threat. And while he's there, he learns that there is a sort of a resistance movement in the, I was going to say castle, in the mansion, I think it is, where they're living. And he gets involved with Lily James's character, who is a Jewish maid. And yeah, so obviously that has repercussions, and any more would spoil it. But yeah, really good film. If you've watched some previous parts, I've mentioned that I bought a load of films from one of my work colleagues who was trying to clear the decks. This was one of them that I picked up from her. This was Calendar Girls. I'm sure you're all familiar with Calendar Girls. You know the plot of it, even if you haven't seen it. It's okay. It's enjoyable. Good cast. This is the third and final season of The Borgias, a series I love. The first 2 series were released on Blu-ray, so I have them on Blu-ray. This series was never released on Blu-ray over here, so I had to make do with a DVD. I certainly enjoyed the first series most, but it's worth sticking with all the way. The Borgias. This is Anchor Films' release of Eric the Viking, Terry Jones's film, which is very enjoyable. As a Python fan, I enjoy it. John Cleese is in it as well. As a lover of Imogen Stubbs, I enjoy it because she's in it. And it's just a really fun film. So this has got, as well as having a reversible sleeve, as most Anchor films do, it's the alternative cover. It's got a poster in it, a big booklet, again, as Anchor films tend to do. But this has got... Oh, screwed up is what this has got. Better. So it's Eric Reviking, the director's son's cut. So the director's son cut, Terry Jones' son Bill is a proper film editor, and so he cuts. It's based on Terry Jones' original version of the film. Then there's an audio commentary interview. Then it's got the actual theatrical cut, of a different audio commentary and lots of makings of and all sorts of things. Yeah, highly recommend Eric Reviking. This is the Sally Lockhart mysteries. So pre-Doctor Who, Billie Piper appeared in a couple of makings, that's better, of two of Philip Pullman's Sally Lockhart novels. That's Ruby in the Smoke and the Shadow in the North. So basically she's sort of a Victorian detective, pretty much. Matt Smith is in them as well, at least one of them. I think he might even be in both, I can't remember. They're lots of fun, very enjoyable. And these will be going up with my box set. This is one that shouldn't have been in with those. Next is Strictly Confidential. This was an ITV series from 2010. I thought it was a bit earlier than that, unless it was just this release of 2010. So it's a Kay Mellor drama, and Saran Jones plays a sex therapist who works with her brother-in-law, played by Tristan Gemmell, and she can't have children, so she gets involved with her brother-in-law, but then it's also the story of all the cases she's working on and what have you. And there's some really good people crop up in it. Eva Pope. Brain has gone dead as to... I should know this. Nikki Sanderson, don't need to look it up. Stacey Rocker, who you might remember from The Office. And various other people. Yeah, that's a good series. This is Splitting Heirs, another post-Python film. This was Eric Idle's film. He didn't direct it, but he wrote it. Eric Idle got separated as a baby from his hippie parents, who was the 15th Duke of Bournemouth, and he gets brought up by a Pakistani family, but then he goes to find his real parents and he finds out that he is heir to this dukedom, but Rick Moranis has actually got the title at the moment because they were mixed up, and it's, you know, him trying to get back his title. But John Cleese is his lawyer, Barbara Hershey is his mum, Catherine Zeta-Jones gets involved with both of them. It's a lot of fun, typical post-Python film, very enjoyable, nothing overly clever, throw that at the camera, but yes, a film I like. Still more post-Python films. This is Yellowbeard, Graham Chapman's film from 79, 80, around then somewhere. Can't see a date. 83, a bit later than I thought. It's not great, but it has some very good moments in it, and it's a wonderful cast who all act their socks off. Graham Chapman obviously plays Yellowbeard, and Peter Cook's in it. John Cleese, Eric Idle, Cheech and Chong, Madeline Kahn, Spike Milligan, Nigel Planer, Susanna York, Beryl Reid, James Mason, David Bowie pops up at one point. Yeah, Yellowbeard is a pirate, obviously. This is City by the Sea. I enjoyed this. I got this because Eliza Dushku's in it. But it's Robert De Niro, Frances McDormand and James Franco. Robert De Niro's a cop. He's estranged from his wife and his son, who Francis and James. No, sorry, Francis is his girlfriend. And James Franco gets to be the prime suspect in a murder investigation, and it's sort of twists and turns because of that, basically. But yeah, it's a good film. This is The Charmer. This was an ITV series from the 80s, 87, set in the 30s, and Nigel Havers plays Ralph Ernest Gorse, who's, as they put it on here, a psychopathic gigolo, and he uses his powers, shall we say, to get involved with various women. It's just a good drama from the mid-80s, or mid to late 80s. This is another one that I picked up off my work colleague. This is The Queen. Again, I'm sure you're all familiar. It's about Princess Diana's death and the aftermath and how it affected the Queen and the monarchy in general. Yes, really good film. And this is The Library Suicides, or to give it its Welsh name, yeah, it's spelt backwards, which doesn't help. Oh, here we are. It's right on that side. Ilifrigel, something like that. This is a Welsh language film. It's made by Euros Lynn, who directed a number of episodes of Doctor Who. And it stars Catherine Stewart, who played Jenny from the Paternoster gang in Doctor Who. She plays twins, and their mother commits suicide, and then they suspect that her biographer, their mother was a famous author, and they suspect actually her biographer killed her, so they set him up at night in the National Library of Wales. Basically, it's a really good film, excellent performance by Catherine Stewart. Okay, that will do for this video. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.